The May print came out today. The narrative is that inflation is cooling. What's your take?
It's amazing how being 0.1 below what expectations were gets everyone really excited. But the jobs number was hot a week ago, so maybe this now is a data point that suggested the economy's still ripping, and maybe there's no cuts, or does the Fed have to raise? What's going on with inflation? And now all of a sudden we get a data point a week later that sort of suggests kind of the opposite. So I feel like, to me, we're still sort of in this holding pattern where things could go either way. We're not quite sure. We need more data, which is sort of, I sound like a parrot every week saying the same thing. But I'm not as excited as the market algorithms were this morning. But I'm also glad it wasn't going in the wrong direction.
Austin?
Well, I think it's interesting because one of the main issues here is that as more liquidity flows into the system, because the Fed has potentially the opportunity to reduce interest rates. So as the markets go up, more liquidity is flowing in, more people get excited. It actually could lead to more inflation. And so I think that we're going to have to see some hiccup. It's not going to be a really smooth landing where there are no issues with the economy and, we get inflation under control and everyone just kind of like cruises off into the sunset and everyone's happy. I think there's actually going to be some type of event, right? If you don't have an event by the Fed reducing rates and pumping up asset prices, you're just going to stoke inflation and create a problem that you were trying to prevent with higher rates in the first place. So I think people are getting a little too excited in the short term. At the end of the day, when the Fed starts reducing rates, it tends to mean that the stock market's going to go down because there's some type of issue in the economy. We haven't seen an issue to date, but investors should be, on the lookout for issues. And one of those issues could be, a previous topic, the commercial real estate issue that PIMCO is pointing out. But there are a handful of others that could pop up that create problems and kind of push markets lower, even though the Fed's reducing interest rates.
It almost seems like the sweet spot for the stock market is for inflation not to go up, but not to go down, and just to keep us all guessing. If every data point just flip-flops on what expectations are, the market can do just fine. But as soon as inflation really moves one direction or another, we're in trouble either way.
Yeah, people get excited about things staying the same rather than, moving one way or the other. Because I guess it is kind of a Goldilocks scenario right now, right? Like nothing bad's happening and interest rates are kind of slowly drifting down. It just doesn't seem like that can happen given everything that we know.